Time to begin Genesis chapter 31. Enough is enough. Jacob and his family decided to leave for Canaan secretly without the uncle knowing anything about it. Doesn't quite go that way. Find out and watch how it gets resolved.
Okay. The title on my Bible here says Jacob leaves secretly for Canaan. Okay. Because Laban doesn't want him to leave.
Not
Remember.
really. But
So Jacob heard the words of Laban's sons saying, Jacob has taken away all that was our father. See, they're jealous now. But remember, he took the rare things. He took the lesser. He took the spotted. He didn't take the white sheep. But now the jealousy comes. He's taken away everything that was our father's, that belonged to our father. He made all his wealth. Jacob saw the attitude of Laban, and behold, it was not friendly toward him as formerly. See, sometimes when you're really, blessed or rich, or people aren't happy for you. Unfortunately, the human nature of people, it's not always that way. It's very sad to say. Okay. Then the Lord said to Jacob, return to the land of your fathers and to your relatives, and I will be with you. Okay. This is the 42nd prophecy that's been fulfilled in the Bible. Return to the land of your fathers.
Yep.
So Jacob sent and called Rachel and Leah to the flock in the field, and he said to him, I see, let me turn my Bible page, your father's attitude it is not friendly toward me as it formerly was, but the God of my father has been with me. You know that I have served your father with all my strength. Yet your father has cheated me and changed my wages 10 times. However, God did not allow him to hurt me. See, what comes around goes around. Jacob was a deceiver, and he's been deceived. If I spoke thus, the speckled shall be your wages, then all the flock brought forth were speckled. And if I spoke, the striped shall be your wages, and I brought forth the striped, then God has taken away your father's livestock and given it to me. Because all the striped and were supposed to be his. And it came about at the time when the flock were mating that I lifted up my eyes, and I saw in the dream, behold, the male goats which were mating were striped, speckled, and mottled. Then the angel of God said to me in the dream, Jacob, and I said, here I am. He said, lift up now your eyes and see that all the male goats which you are mating are striped, speckled, and mottled, for I have seen all that Laban has done to you. You see, he didn't speak up against Laban.
No.
But God took care of him. Now, I want to just tell you a quick story. I know this is a little different than this, but it's a powerful story. I worked in an office, an accounting office for most of my life. Okay. And I ran a lot in there. I was moving hundreds of thousands of dollars a day from an account to account. I had people working for me, and it was raise time. Now we had 3 payrolls. We had 3 separate companies. One was a holding company, and I'm not going to go into all that. And I signed all the paychecks, even my boss's paychecks. Okay. I did the payroll. And so it was raise time. So I said to God, give me what you want. Give me what I'm worth. Give me what you think I should get, God, right? I go to work that day, and all the raises are in for everybody but me. There was 28 employees. I did not get a raise. I broke down on my way home with my old car, and it was still paying for it with my kids in the car. And I sat at the dinner table, and the first time my kids ever saw me cry, and I said to my husband, I said, I asked God, give me what I deserve, and I got nothing. And I said, I'm quitting my job. Now, I worked at that job almost my whole life. Okay.
Yeah.
So Phil says, Dee, he's the calm one. You always have one of those in the marriage. He says, why don't you just pray 2 weeks and ask God to show you something? I said, okay, I'll pray. I did not say a word to my boss, because that would not have been ethical, because I am the one in charge of the payroll. I didn't want to say to my boss, look, you didn't give me a raise. Why not? Because he trusted me to do the payroll. It just would not have been the right thing to say anything to him. I did not say a word. I didn't complain to him. He did know I broke down on the road, though. So 2 weeks later, I said to the Lord in the morning, God, what do I do? Can I quit my job now? And he said to me, no, go to work, and there's going to be a great blessing there for you. I go to work. My boss calls me in the office and he says to me, I want to buy you a company car. I said, what? What kind of car would you like? I said, anything that doesn't break down. I got a renewed car every 3 years. I got a brand new Subaru Outback leased to me every 3 years. What happened there is the same thing that happened here. I didn't complain to my boss. I didn't argue with him. How come this one got this kind of raise? How come that one? And I didn't get. Now, not only did I get a car, I got a gas card that filled the tank. My car insurance was covered because it's company car now, but the car was mine. If I went to a car wash, the company paid for the car wash because it was a company car.
Mm.
You understand? Not only did I get a car, I got all these blessings that came along with it.
Mm.
Okay. And that happened for the remainder of the time that I worked for him.
Yeah.
So I didn't complain. Neither did he. But God says, because of what I saw, how he cheated you, I am blessing you, Jacob. Now, my boss never cheated me. He was like the best boss ever. I mean, he would give out $10,000 Christmas bonuses, and
boy.
You did a great job this summer. Here's $1,000. I mean, great man. But I did same thing. I didn't get the raise, and I didn't complain about it. But God saw and knew what was coming 2 weeks from then.
Oh yeah.
Because my boss was probably thinking, "What do I do for her? Do I give her a car? What do I do?" But this is it. God always takes care of us. I tell people, stop complaining about your boss. They've given you a job. See, when people are hired for jobs, they're so excited. I got the job. I'm so happy. It's the greatest place I ever worked. It's so good. And then a year later, they're grumbling and complaining with the rest of the employees.
And I kind of know something about strong boss type. I got one for a mother. Here's my suggestion, folks. If you have an issue with the boss, whoever it is, I don't care if it's male or female, the best thing to do is when you get home, pray.
Pray.
Ask the Father how you can pray.
Yes.
Bless them.
Right.
And yet, I'm serious. Even the one that you want to ram through their head through the wall.
Right. Not every
Because
boss
I
is great.
know
You're
those
right.
type.
Yeah.
And what? Forgive. Ask
Right.
the Lord what's what. Because sometimes, because my mom was always a strong personality type, and that, you don't always see what else is going on behind the scene.
That's right.
And she might be, and she sometimes verbalize at me, and I'm like, okay, I see something else is going on, and I'm like, help, nope. So
Yeah.
just try ask the Father, whatever the heck is going on, help that person.
That's right.
And that don't take ownership of the anger at Dina said. Don't take go in with curse, but bless. For the Lord said,
Right.
if we choose to bless, He'll take care of that person.
He will.
Yeah,
He will.
and
Take care of you.
yeah.
Yeah. And then like there may be times where God say, okay, it's time for you to leave that job. You're being abused or whatever. I'm not saying mine was just one situation. There's all different situations. But like you said, I love it when Jehoshaphat, the army comes up against Jehoshaphat. Jehoshaphat saying to God, oh my God, they said the army's they're so big, they're mighty, they're coming against us, Jehoshaphat. And so what does he do? He gets on his knees and prays.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't say, okay, everybody get the warriors on the front line. We're doing this. No, seek God first. Yeah. Seek God first, because God will always take care of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't remember. Let's see. Okay. God says, here I am. He says, lift up your eyes. I let you do this. I am the God of Bethel, where you anointed a pillar. He's talking to him. Where you anointed a pillar, where you made a vow to me. Remember, he gave the tithes. And he vowed to do that to God. Now arise, leave this land, and return to the land of your birth. God has given him direction in a dream. Rachel and Leah said to him, do you still have any portion or inheritance in our father's house? Do we still have any? Are we not reckoned by him as foreigners? For he has sold us. He has entirely consumed our purchase price. Surely all the wealth which God has taken away from our father belongs to us and our children. Now do whatever God has said to you. So the wives are saying that. Wait a minute. We're supposed to get an inheritance too. Didn't you get part of our inheritance? We deserve all these flocks that we've gotten.
Mm-hmm.
We agree. Let's go. So
Mhm.
Jacob arose and put his children and his wives upon camels. And he drove away all the livestock, all of his property, which he had gathered. He acquired livestock too when he was in Padam Aram in the land of Canaan.
Yeah.
Okay, from Isaac. When Laban had gone to shear his flock, then Rachel stole the household idols that were her father's.
Yep.
See, the people back then had household idols. That's why
Mm-hmm.
God was so upset with Israel, because they had idols. But she stole them. She should not have stolen them. We never steal anything that is not ours, right?
Right.
And Jacob deceived Laban, the Aramean, by not telling him that he was fleeing. But he did not know that Rachel stole them.
Yeah.
So he fled with all that he had. He arose, crossed the Euphrates River, set his face toward the hills of Gilead. Next happens, Laban pursues Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
When it was told Laban on the third day that Jacob had fled, then he told his kinsmen with him and pursued them. There was a distance of 7 days' journey, and he overtook them in the hill country. God came to Laban the Aramean in a dream at night and said to him, "Be careful that you do not speak to Jacob, either good or bad." Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Laban caught up with Jacob. Now, Jacob had pitched his tent in the hill country, and Laban with his kinsmen, camped in the hill of Gilead. Then Laban said to Joseph, "What have you done by deceiving me and carrying away my daughters like captives of the sword?" Now, we know that they weren't captives. They just said, "Let's go." No, we just read that in another verse. "Why did you flee secretly and deceive me and did not tell me that I might have sent you away with joy and with songs? You told me with timbrel and with lyres. And God did not allow me to kiss my sons and my daughters. Now you have done foolishly. It is in my power to do you harm. But the God of your father spoke to me last night, saying, 'Be careful not to speak either good or bad to Jacob.'" God spoke to him in a dream.
Yeah.
"Now you have indeed gone away." That was a warning dream. God gives us warning dreams. Okay.
Yeah.
"Now you have indeed gone away because you longed greatly for your father's house. But why did you steal my gods?" His idols. Okay. Okay. Why have you stolen my idols? Where am I now? Be careful not to speak. Okay. Then Jacob replied to Laban, "Because I was afraid, for I thought that you would take your daughters from me by force. The one with whom you find your gods, the idols, shall not live. In the presence of our kinsmen, point out what is yours among my belongings and take it for yourself." For Jacob didn't know that Rachel had stolen them.
Yeah.
But he just spoke a curse. Listen, he spoke a word. He said, "Whoever has your idols will not live." Our words are so powerful, man. I've talked to people who've said, "I'm always so clumsy. I'm so clumsy." And guess what? They're the clumsiest people you'll ever meet, because they keep speaking that word over them. "I'm so tired. I'm so tired." Guess what? They're always tired. Stop speaking the words, the negative words. So Laban went to Jacob's tent, into Leah's tent, and into the tent of his two maids, but he didn't find the idols. Then he went out of Leah's tent and entered Rachel's tent. Now Rachel had taken the household idols and put them in the camel's saddle, and she sat on them. And Laban felt through all the tent, but did not find them. She said to her father, "Lord, let not my lord be angry, but I cannot arise before you, for the manner of woman is upon me." So he searched, but did not find the household idols. Then Jacob became angry and contended with Laban and said, "Why is this transgression? What is my sin that you have hotly pursued me? Though you have felt through all my goods, you have not found your household goods. So it is here before my kinsmen and that you two may decide between us two. These 20 years I have been with you. Your ewes and your female goats have not miscarried, nor have I eaten the rams of your flocks. That which was torn of beasts I did not bring to you. I bore the loss of it myself. you required it of my hand, whether stolen by night or by night. Thus it was. The day the heat consumed me, and the frost of night, my sheep fled from my eyes. These 20 years I have been in your house. I served you 14 years for your 2 daughters, and 6 years for your flock, and you changed my wages 10 times. If the God of my father, the God of Abraham, and the fear of Isaac has not been for me, surely now you have sent me away empty-handed.
Oh, yeah. For anybody who might be wondering, no, he was not afraid of his father. I actually did a little check on a different translation. NET is actually it's the fear of the God of Isaac. That was the actual translation.
Oh, that's a right. Oh, okay. The fear of the God of Isaac. Okay, that's
Yeah, otherwise it
yeah,
wouldn't have made sense.
yeah, yeah. And then he says here too, the fear of Isaac. I've seen that. God has been my affliction. He has seen my affliction, the toil of my hands. So he's praising God. So he rendered judgment last night. So he's still praising God. My God, has seen the toil of my hands and the
Yeah.
affliction I've gone through over these last 20 years. So now we're going to go a little further, and I am going to look at notes today, okay? Because I just want you to know God helped him to prosper.
Yep.
Who brings prosperity to us? God. Don't ever say, I am blessed because of all my hard work. God has given you the job so that you could work hard.
Yeah.
We always want to give God the praise and, everything else like that, okay? The heart is more deceitful above all else and is
Yep.
desperately sick. Who can understand it? All right. So, I'm not going to read you all these scriptures, but there's so many scriptures about the heart between us and God, watch, oh Lord, who may abide in your tent, who may abide in your holy hill, he who walks with integrity and righteousness and speaks truth in their heart. We've got to always walk in integrity.
Yeah. That sounds
Listen,
like Psalm 25.
that was Psalm 15.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, 1-2. Unless it's a typo.
That's right.
It could be my fault there. All right.
It's okay. There's so many wonderful scriptures. No, 24, right after Psalm 23. It's essentially the same message.
Yes.
Who can go? He who has clean hand and pure heart.
Yeah. I wanted to say something about the gods. The gods were called teraphim, 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 and whoever had the gods was considered to be the person who got a double portion of the inheritance. All right. So when Jacob first saw that, and Laban had no sons, and Jacob was taken in the family as a son, he was adopted as an heir. But Laban had sons shortly after that, and he wanted his sons to get the idol, so they would get the double portion. But he thought Jacob figured, I'm the only son he had in the beginning, and he stole it. That's what all this is about, okay? About getting the double portion. He wanted his sons to possess the teraphim, okay? Rachel probably felt that Jacob deserved it more than the others because he served him. He was mistreated by Laban. There's no evidence in the word that she wanted to worship false gods, false idols. There's no thing there, okay? But that was the main reason about the gods, okay? Because whoever had them got the double portion of inheritance. Okay, so now we're going to look at the rest of this chapter. The covenant of Mizpah.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Then Laban replied to Jacob, the daughters are my daughters, and the children are my children, and the flocks are my flocks, and all you can see is mine. But what can I do this day to these, my daughters, or to their children, whom they have borne? So now come, let us make a covenant, you and I will let it be a witness there between you and me. Then Jacob took a stone and set it up as a pillar. Remember, the stone always represents Christ in the spirit realm, okay?
Yeah.
Jacob said to his kinsmen, gather stones. So they took stones and made a heap, and they are there by the heap. Now Laban called it, I don't know if I'm going to say it, Jegar Rasutha Duatha. Okay, that's what he calls it. But Jacob called it Gilead, okay? And in the heap of was a witness there. Okay. Mizpah was a place called the Watchtower.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And there was 2 camps there. So Mizpah, for he said, may the Lord watch between you and me when we are absent from one another. If you mistreat my daughters, or you take wives beside my daughters, although no man is with us to see it, God will be my witness between you and me. Laban said to Jacob, behold this heap, behold the pillar which I have set between you and me. It's a witness. The pillar is a witness that I will not pass by this heap to you for harm, and you will not pass by this heap and pillar to me for harm. So we are not going to harm one another. That's what it represented.
Yeah.
The God of Abraham, the God of Nahor, the God of their father, judged between us. So Jacob swore by the fear of his father Isaac. Then Jacob offered a sacrifice on the mountain, called his kinsmen to the meal, and they ate the meal and spent the night on the mountain. Early in the morning, Laban arose, kissed his sons, his daughters, and blessed them. Then Laban departed and returned to his place. So there's a lot that happened there. There was great that it ended with a covenant.
Yep.
You know, covenants were binding, sacred, and if anything ever was broken, a covenant was ever broken, there would be a penalty. That's why when I tell you God makes covenants to Israel and to people, it will never be broken. We have the new covenant, of course, being Jesus. Jesus is our new covenant, right?
Yep.
Meaning that, you know, we don't have to go to the altar anymore and kill an animal to get forgiveness of sin, because Jesus said, I am the Lamb of God that takes away the sins of the world. Once he was slain, and he said, it's finished now. You do not have to kill animals anymore. I am the final animal sacrifice to make covenant with you forever for your salvation.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, and I love that scripture. Who would die for you? Would you die for a friend? Who would die for you?
Yeah.
Jesus. Amazing, just amazing. And this whole story, you know, how God did bless Jacob, and, you know, the promise of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Oh, yeah.
And now the 12 tribes of Israel, you know, are birthed and born.
Oh, yes.
So it's so important.
Yep.
So important. Yeah. And isn't it funny that Mizpah is called a watchtower? You know what a watchtower is?
Yes, I do.
Watch, right? Watch and pray. Watch and pray.
Yeah. The watchtower is usually set up so somebody would be acting at sentry, keep an eye out for dangers, traders, and they would send out a message to home base.
Yes.
What?
Right. It's amazing. Just amazing. Yeah.
Well, that wraps up this chapter, but Jacob and his family are not home free yet. They got one more thing to do, and it involves Esau. That matter hasn't been resolved yet. I want to encourage you to subscribe so you'll be notified when that video becomes available. And I think you'll find 32 and later chapters very interesting. Hope you're enjoying. Please like and share this video. It will help my channel and overcome any problem with the algorithm. Thanks and have a blessed day. See you when I see you.